Don't need that in my ear. What's going on, guys? So, after a clip that I released the other day about Voiceplay versus Melinda, this one, I have gotten a mountain of negative comments, let's be honest here. So I wanted to address them a little bit. I have replied to a few of them, including screen capping a reply chain and my replies to said person. So I want to just elaborate here because apparently what happens here is I know nothing about music. My opinion is invalid and I'm an idiot. What else? Oh, I shouldn't react to things if I'm going to be negative about them. What else? Either way, the point is, shut up. I don't care. Come on, guys, be real here. Look, when it comes to voice play, I give them a chance. It's like people like them, and I'm trying to figure out why people like them. Does that make sense to you at all? Like, the fact that my microphone is like right here in view of the camera? Either way. Look, as my home fries know, on Home Friday, I do home free and home free adjacent artists. And we explore different acapella groups, different other kind of folksy people they've worked with, people they've competed against, people, all these things. That's how voice play gets in there. That's how the Hound and the Fox gets in there. Technically, through a few steps, that's how Melinda gets in there. And the whole reason I even got into voice play at all is because I saw a lot of people reacting to it and saying, hey, look how awesome this is. So I wanted to check it out, just like one of you guys would do. Now, I have been a long-standing home free fan. I was a fan of Pentatonics and Peter Hollins prior to that, and I was never into voice play. I never really listened to them. I never checked them out because I had my acapella fix. So I come in, and the very first thing I ever looked at, outside of doing reactions, was their Moana medley. And I really like Moana. My wife really loves Moana. She loves to just randomly watch it and sing along because apparently she's a 10-year-old girl. And I watched that and I was vastly disappointed. And maybe that set the tone forever of me not really enjoying what voice play does. Now, that was probably a year ago, maybe. I don't know exactly when I saw that. I know it was at least last year, maybe the year before. The last 2 years have really rolled together. And since then, being exposed to just Jeff Castellucci by himself, or when he kind of goes off and does something with somebody else, I really enjoy what he does. So that leads me to believe that there's got to be something in voice play that I must like. There must be something I'm missing, because if Jeff can be this good, and I know that he does a lot of arranging for voice play, not to mention his own stuff, and then I know he's a talented musician, he's a talented singer, he's a talented, I assume he makes up some of his videos and stuff like that. So there's got to be something to voice play that I have to be missing. And as many people have not so nicely put it, there's got to be, because I must be an idiot if their arrangements are so complex and all this stuff going in the background that I'm clearly missing. I'm not missing it, guys. I'm just not liking it. And that's what you have to understand. Now, I'm not a music teacher. I haven't studied music, but what I have done is listened to a fuck ton of music throughout my life. I've listened to a fuck ton of other things. I've watched other reactors who know way more than me watch something and break it down so that I can understand what's going on better in the background and things like that, so that maybe I'm not hearing what other people hear, but then they break it down, they explain it to me, and I go, okay, now I'll give it a listen and see if that makes sense to me, and I do that, and it's fine. People got mad at me originally for the Oogie Boogie reaction, because all I said, if they're doing a lot of oohs and ahs in the background, and they are. They really are. Like, fuck you if you say otherwise. They're literally doing a buttload of oohs, doos, das, boos. They're doing a lot of just that over and over again. And something occurred to me just this weekend after the giant controversy of Melinda is better than Voiceplay. And if you say they're not, you're lying to yourself. Objectively, Melinda and her cadre of friends who did the song Hoist the Colors, it is an objectively better version of Hoist the Colors. And for those who clearly aren't paying attention, I liked Voiceplay's version. I liked it right off the bat. That's why I was so surprised when I finished that series. And I said, okay, I thought that they were going to be blown out of the water because I didn't like their stuff before. And so I come out of it liking that performance, not agreeing with everything they did. Clearly, I don't like the unnecessary bass when it's in there. And for those going on it, I don't like unnecessary highs either. I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's the thing. One of those versions of the song was trying to capture the vibe of the original. The other was converting it to be a stage performance, as in like a theater. And that revelation this weekend really was like, oh, Voiceplay is those theater kids. So instead of doing straight covers to make it sonically sound as close to an original piece with their own twist, by using only their voices and bodies and whatnot, obviously, they turn it into a stage performance as though it is literally in the middle of a play, like a breakdown in a musical. And that, once I made that realization, I was like, this is why I don't like this, because all of the flair they add is theatrical flair. As I just explained to somebody in the comments right here, and this goes into what I consider unnecessary bass, what I consider unnecessary highs. There are things that are completely unnecessary when it comes to types of music. Now, here's the funny part. If you watch the Melinda version with an open mind, Colm and Bobby are hitting at very least the same lows that Jeff is hitting, maybe going a little bit lower than that with subharmonics. But it sounds better because it's made to fit in with everything else that's going on. With Voiceplay, and once again, talking with other friends who aren't invested in this, I just said, hey, listen to this and tell me what you like or don't like. Just keeping it between these two songs, these two versions of the same song. I said, what don't you like about this? What do you like about this? And they said the same thing I said, without seeing my reaction. Well, I liked what all the guys did, and they all sound really good, but they don't sound good together. And as a group of 5 or 6 people who are singing a song together, they just sounded like everyone was out of sync. Nobody was working with anybody. They were all just doing their parts. And I thought about it. I was like, that's kind of what's going on. At least that's how we hear it. And maybe that has something to do with just the way they arrange their thoughts on arrangements. But if you simply compare them to Home Free, who does everything in their power to make it sound like a coherent song, even when you've got 3 out of the 4 guys all doing just background and beat, and then 2 maybe handing off lead vocals here and there, it sounds like a complete song. When Voiceplay does it, it sounds like 5 or 6 people competing to do the thing, to be the star of the song. And Lane, doing all the beatboxing and some of the bass work as well, fine. And then you got Jeff doing whatever Jeff do, whether that's singing anywhere in that ridiculous range of his or helping along with the beat is all good. And those two work well together doing what they do. When you have a good bass and a good beatboxer that have been together for a while, you're going to have a very coherent sound. And then you've got all the other guys that, I guess Ellie and I can't remember everybody else's names. Sorry. They have good range too, but mostly in the highs. Or at least that's where they tend to play a lot more. And this is where it comes into what is unnecessary. When back in the day, in the mid 2000s, when acapella was really coming up, super screaming highs and whistle notes and stuff like that were the big showstopper. And bass was just relegated to doing background things. And then sometime around when uh, voiceplay and home free were on the sing off, that's when lows started to really become a thing. Earth shaking lows coming out and doing things. You could even say, within the same vein, Tim doing the either F1 or G1 at the end of the Ring of Fire is technically unnecessary, but the way he gets there makes it work. Now, when you just drop a sudden bass note in the middle of what was here, it's like it takes people out of it. And this is one thing a lot of the people that, at least within my own chat, within my own comments, have said they really enjoy about home free and really dislike about voice play. And that leads me to believe that there is something about that. And while I like Jeff in and of himself, I think he's absolutely fantastic. I criticize him specifically within his own music videos, like I did on the clip I just released, and I'll be putting out more, when he is doing perfectly fine and then just suddenly goes like out of nowhere. It's the problem is, if it's not alluded to, if it's a sudden surprise, sometimes it just sonically throws you off. It takes you out of the thing. Now, if you're doing anything, like if you're working your way down to a bass note and then you suddenly drop, that's one thing. But if you're up here and then it just suddenly bottoms out and then comes right back up, that's a weird thing to do. Just like it is on the opposite end, where you're like screeching highs and then you drop right back down. You know, and it can be unpleasant either way. And I'm not saying it has to stay right in the middle, but it has to make sense. And see, that's the thing with my channel. It doesn't have to make sense. I know that's contradictory to the conversation currently. But no, music does have to make sense even within its ordering of chaos. So the thing with music, the same thing with comedy and a lot of other things, is you have to have order. There has to be rhythm. But if something is always just the same and never really changes, it gets boring and you check out. So you have to add a little bit of chaos. You gotta throw in a rhythm switch, maybe throw in a key change, something like that. But then it also still has to make sense within it. It can't just be an abrupt change. It needs to be a surprise, but it also doesn't need to be total chaos in comparison. And sometimes when listening to voice play, it sounds like there's too much going on that doesn't work together. It all works as something that needs to stand out. Now, some of that could be just in how it's mixed, but I don't hear, having experienced these other equally as important and high-end acapella groups compared to voice play, I keep saying it's like it sounds like they're still stuck in 2007. Like that was it. That was the peak of their ideas, and then they've just continued along with that, while everyone else has evolved from what acapella was into developing what acapella is really becoming when it comes to making music. And I think that's the major difference between voice play and the others, is that voice play is truly doing just stage stuff, just theater stuff, not worrying about, is this going to be a song that people listen to over and over again, or is this just going to be a big performance without a lot of substance. And that's where I get at, it gets to being too flashy, it gets to being a little too chaotic, and not enough coherence. And this is my opinion, okay? I don't care if you disagree with me, I really don't. Because you can kiss my ass if you're going to be an asshole to me. I'm going to be an asshole back to you. But if I'm telling you my feelings and my thoughts about my experience with the thing, I'm not wrong. You're wrong for being mad at me about it instead of trying to tell me a way to, instead of trying to spell out why I should enjoy it, you're spelling out why I'm wrong for not. Instead of offering me solutions, you're offering me get the fuck out. Does that make sense? It's like, I am actively trying to find voice play I like, and so far I found 3 things I do. You know, now, are those things that I'm going to actively seek? Maybe. I don't know. Are they going to be videos I watch over and over? Probably. But not as much as I do for Home Free and the other guys. It's not the same type of music. And does that make it fair to compare it to someone else doing the same song? You're damn right it does. Because it's 2 very different experiences. And if one makes me kind of happy that I enjoyed it, and then the other elicits uncontrollable emotional reactions, I'm going to go for the one that's giving me the better experience. I don't care who's singing it. If Voiceplay did an actual better job, then I would say it. Now, had I done Melinda first and then gone to Voiceplay, I would have been incredibly disappointed. Instead, I went Voiceplay first. I got excited about what Voiceplay did and actually got worrying that Melinda, who I really like what she does, was going to have a hard time competing, and then I was utterly surprised at what that cover did. And I'm going to continue doing verses. I don't know if it'll... I'm not going to just keep picking on Voiceplay, because that's unfair, and they don't do all the same things, but they did My Mother Told Me, and I know other people have done My Mother Told Me, so I'm going to compare those 2, because I have not watched theirs, and I've watched a couple others, and I wouldn't mind seeing which one is better, because that's just fun. And not me wanting to pick on them, it's because I want to give them a chance versus music I like. It's like, if I like this style, I want to figure out if I can like this style. And if there's nothing redeemable to me about it, then I'll give up on it. But because I enjoy what at least one of their major members does on his own, I'm going to keep trying to figure out why people prefer Voiceplay over other groups. Now, I understand why people like Home Free over other groups. That's undeniable to me. But I can still enjoy Pentatonics. I can still enjoy Peter Hollins, just depending on what he does. Sometimes he tweaks things a little too far, and I'm not too fun with it. But other things Peter does, I really enjoy, especially when he mixes it up with other artists that I also enjoy. So it's like, Voiceplay does a very specific type of thing. Now, if that type of thing or that type of performance eventually falls into the category of something that I enjoy and will come back to, that's what I'm looking for. And you guys can keep saying you shouldn't react to them or you shouldn't check them out if you don't like them. I was like, no, that's not what this is about. It's about me trying to figure out why you like them and why I should like them, but I don't. So me trying to figure that out is not wrong. And you guys want to say I'm chasing clout or chasing views? No, I'm chasing views by putting out clips because you guys don't watch entire live streams and you're not always here for live streams. Smaller individual reactions will get more views, will get more exposure. And I made the mistake of putting out Voiceplay first because actually I wanted people to react to Melinda. And you guys instead are being angry at me for not liking Voiceplay. That's a weird thing to do. It is. And now I've said the exact same thing to Toxic Home Fries, who have attacked reactors in their comments for disliking a video or a particular song because they didn't like the way Rob sang one or didn't like the way this one video was shot. And this dude was ripped to shreds in the comments about it by Home Fries. And there was another guy who was ripped to shreds by Home Fries as well because it was just not a style he liked. And you guys expect every reactor to just come in and love it the same way you do, but that's not the point. The point is to get our thoughts and opinions and feelings on the thing, whether that's positive or negative. If it's negative, it's because it's something that doesn't agree with us. Right? You know, And just because it's like that doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean that I'm bad. It doesn't mean that any other reactor is bad. It just means we're people and we have opinions. Whether you're a VP or if you're a home fry. It is what it is. Or if you're a pentaholic. You know, I actually don't actively listen to Pentatonics anymore since Avi left. But I'll still go back and listen to everything he did beforehand and enjoy it just fine. And it's nothing against Matt. I just don't like the style that they changed their style a bit, and it doesn't rub me the right way anymore. Not to mention I can't react to Pentatonics because SME shuts down every single reaction to them. You know, so I'm not going to play that game. I just do it on my own time, and it's fine. So, it is what it is. And like I said, I'm not wrong for disliking it. You're wrong for being an asshole about the fact I don't dislike it. Or I don't like it, I should say. Think about that. Because toxic fans have actually turned people off to an artist that they may actually eventually like if they get the right exposure. But if you're a toxic dickhead and you are representing the group, you as a fan who loves everything they do, when you come in and you act like an asshole, you can turn people off who haven't had enough time to necessarily develop anything with this group, and they may never because they don't want to be associated with people like you. So think about that next time you react like a dickhead in the comments of some reactor's video. Because you might go, well, you need to stop reacting to it, and they'll be like, okay, well, I wanted to give him a chance, but if I'm going to be around people like you, I'm definitely not going to give it a chance. And how does that make the group look? Think about that. Think about exactly how you want to represent the group. How you want to represent the artist. It's not my job to represent the artist. It's yours. And as a fan, you should be doing everything in your power to hope that people like it. And when people don't, you need to be understanding when it comes to that instead of attacking them for having a different point of view. And, you know, everybody's ears are different. Everybody's likes are different. Everybody's stylistic choices are different. And now that I've just sat here and explained why I feel the way I do, y'all can shut up. Or maybe suggest something I might like. Honestly, like if you guys know Voiceplay's catalog, I don't. I'm just futzing my way through it, whether they drop something new or I pick up something I might know what it is. Suggest something for me that I might enjoy. You know? It's like if there's a song out there that has to be good, do some legwork for me and shortcut it instead of just saying get the fuck out of here if you're not going to enjoy this the way I do. That's the point. That is absolutely the point. And home fries, pentaholics, all of you guys, the same goes for you. If you find a reactor who doesn't like the group that you love more than anything, do the same thing. Have the same consideration. Now, if they're just coming out and straight hating on the group or hating on the artist, that's one thing. Now, I make fun of Voiceplay, and I'll use the line as my fans know, you know, it's still better than Voiceplay. I'm picking on it because I haven't found something that I definitely enjoy. And when I said fuck Voiceplay in that comparison video, that was in regards to that comparison. There was no comparison between those two performances. And it was unfair because I thought Voiceplay actually did a really good job and I wanted it to be a much more fair battle, and then it absolutely was not. And if you don't believe me, the view count alone speaks for the difference between those two songs. So think about that, okay? And I'm going to do more comparisons, and I'm going to do more Voiceplay reactions, and I'm going to find stuff that I dislike and stuff that I do like. And I might go, there's home free songs I don't like. There's home free performances I don't like. And I criticize them almost as much as anybody else. Like, there's sometimes Austin goes on high runs that I'm like, you didn't really need to do that, buddy. It's like, that didn't need to go there. That's fine. Especially in the old days, there was a lot more of that, but finding that balanced route between when to do things really makes a difference. I'm not wrong for feeling it, you're just wrong for being angry at it. So that's all it comes down to. So I'm done with this video. I actually need to go edit some more clips, but since there were so many comments in this video that, were attacking me, then I need to just address it, and that's the last time I'm addressing it specifically. If you need to reference this video, please do. Okay, hope you have a good day, because I'm going to try. I started out today very bummed, and I'm going to try to make a better day for myself. So I hope you have a better day for yourself instead of being angry at a reactor for not liking the group you like. So I'll see you guys later. Remember, it doesn't always have to make sense, but it does have to be loud. Now, what's funny about that is it's contradictory to this particular statement, but that's not what that's actually about. But I'll see you guys later.